Alright, like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called Clinical. A psychiatrist is played by flashbacks to a terrifying attack as she treats a new patient who was horribly disfigured by an accident. This movie came out 2017. It's an hour 44 minutes long. I'm here to tell you right now, this movie is not for the weak at heart. Spoiler alert, let's get it. We start off right here at a therapy clinic, and for some strange reason they're playing Christmas music at the beginning. Then we got a psychiatrist by the name of Jane. She's taking her last calls, waiting for the coffee machine to pump out some damn coffee. Then all of a sudden she hears some glass break like a stone cold entrance. She goes to one of the rooms, she sees this chick named Nora, and she's been cutting herself with glass. First off, it's late. Why is she in here to begin with? Then she goes after her with the glass. She cuts her arms up and shit. Then for some reason just backs off and starts staring at her. Then she slits her own throat. I'm like, what the fuck? And insanely, that's how the movie starts. Now I thought she was dreaming at first, but apparently this incident happened 2 years ago. So no, she was not dreaming. This really happened. So in the same building she used to work in, she actually goes to see a psychiatrist named Terry. She hasn't really processed her trauma yet, but she does have a new boyfriend that happens to be a cop. Now back in her lovely home, she still takes on clients, but not high-induced clients because it would trigger her own PTSD. Then she gets a phone call from a guy that wants to be a particular client by the name of Alex. He says he's been in a car accident, his face is all messed up, and she shouldn't be taking on this type of client, but she does anyway. Now I'm not sure what kind of pills she takes, but she definitely takes medication. Now she's sleeping, she hears a loud crash, and let me tell you, this happens a couple of times during the movie. She goes outside to investigate with a spiked metal bat. She doesn't see anything, but hears things. Oh shit, who's that shadowy figure in the background? You could barely see it, but it's there. Later on the next day, Alex comes to one of her sessions. So they're trying to get to the root of the problem, why his face is disfigured and why he needs therapy. But he's not ready to divulge that information yet. So then he asks for some type of drugs. But she's not going to give him any type of medication unless absolutely necessary. So she goes out jogging with her homegirl, you know, downtime. And they pretty much have casual conversation. Later on, she's having dinner with her boyfriend, Miles, who happens to be the cop. Just a nice, quiet dinner. Next day, back to the session with Alex. I know Alex starts talking about the incident. He's driving. He sees a bumper on the road. Gets out the car, sees his car, sees a car completely dismantled. And he's looking around. But before we get any more of the story, he starts hyperventilating and stuff. So we gotta wait for more of the story on his next visit. Then Jane has a vision of herself sitting on the couch talking to Nora. As Nora comes towards her like she's ready to kill her, then she wakes up. Then she has another session with Terry, who's convinced she shouldn't be taking on Alex as a client, because she's still having PTSD flashbacks about Nora. Later on, she's at her house back on the phone, and then she hears a loud crash again. She goes downstairs and Alex is in her kitchen. What in all of the fuck? Turns out he snuck in her house but is sleepwalking. She called her boyfriend, made sure everything was okay. Now the thing is, she doesn't want to press charges, but she can't keep taking him on as a client. And that's when her boyfriend convinced her of that. So she tells Alex the situation, and Alex like, it'll never happen again, blah, blah, blah. And she gives him a list of people he can see, but he can't see her no more. Then she has a dream about seeing Nora. I think this is when she saw her when she first happened to see her. Nothing really happens in this dream, but she wakes up out of it like she couldn't breathe, like she's about to have a panic attack. I think she took some medication in this shot too. Then she goes back to taking on her regular clients, but it feels like this time around she's distracted when she's taking on her regular clients. Then she's spending time with Miles putting up Christmas decorations. See, now it's official. It's a Christmas movie. Anyway, she gets a call from Alex, and I think he's taking way too many pills. So she rushes over to his house because she thinks he's trying to kill himself. He says he'll only open the door if it's you. No ambulance, no 911, none of that. He opens the door and through some deep conversation, he convinces her to take him on as a patient again. So, back to our house again. Now we get deeper into the car accident story. He helps two people out the car and put them in a nearby tree. And then he's running towards something. Then he stops in the middle again. Damn it, I want the rest of the story. And he says the therapy's not helping because he really doesn't want to explain the story. He doesn't want to relive the trauma all over again. So, we're going to have to wait for another session. Back in the house, she's in the kitchen. She hears a loud crash again. Except this time when she goes to the door, she sees Nora just standing there. I'm like, oh shit. Then she started chasing her through the house. She goes upstairs because she hears a radio playing for some reason. How the radio got turned on, I have no idea, but she goes and turns it off. She looks out the window and sees Nora out the window again. Then we go to the psychiatric hospital. We find out that Nora escaped like a month ago. Then we get some footage on her talking to the doctor. Now, up to this point in the movie, I didn't think she was still alive considering the way she slit her throat. But as you can see, there's evidence right here with the bandages on her neck. Yeah, she's still alive. When she comes back to the house, Alex is just sitting on the front porch. Now, the story that we got on Nora is that they said her dad died. Jane didn't even know they was in contact with each other. So that tipped me off, that got me thinking, who the fuck is her dad? So she gets home, we got another session with Alex. Alright, so after Alex saved the people and put him on a tree, he runs out in the middle of the road, tries to stop an 18-wheeler. But he runs right to the middle of the road. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? His face was all mangled up, but then I'm thinking to myself, how was he even alive? The crazy thing is, if you're tripping off that, that's not even the whole story. But that's the story he tells her so far. So later on as she's trying to sleep, guess what? Just take a guess. She hears a loud goddamn bang. She goes to look around. This time there are footprints on the ground. Oh shit. She picks up a knife and is like, what's good, pimpin'? She goes upstairs to the bedroom and sees all these bloody pictures on the daggone bed. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Her boyfriend comes and we can't make heads or tails of things. So he gives her the idea of installing some security cameras in the house. Considering all the noises you hear, you probably should have been did that shit. Next day she pops up at the house and Alex is right there again. And at this point she has to really stop taking him on as a patient. So in the house she has all her security cameras and everything set up. She can pretty much see every area of the house. Her friend Claire is calling her but she's not picking up the phone for anything. She goes to sleep and has this crazy ass dream about her and Nora again. And Nora's just cutting her up from head to toe.